Hello and welcome back to my bookshelf tour, where I actually thought, holy crap, am I going to finish off with J.K. Rowling for bookshelf tour? It's like, but actually it turns out I've got at least two more, this one and one more, which is sort of a platform tour, because actually what holds up this camera on its then stand is a bunch of books that I would actually not mind talking about. So and another book here. So I've got I got at least one more bookshelf tour after this one. This again is a single author bookshelf tour, and is an author who I have to say I've probably more tagged along on this than others. This is definitely a Zsa author who I've read a fair bit of, but has actually slightly defeated me in his output. And that is Mcll Smth, a Zimbabwean UK writer, white author who actually he's known for the #1 ladies detective agency, which is set in Botswana, place where he has also worked. Mcll Smth has spent most of his life as an expert on medical and bioethics law, is an actual expert in that field, but in I think it's 2005 he decided to become just a full-time author. He is like now 83. He has most prodigious output, but let's not focus on that to begin with. Let's just focus on what he's actually written, which are quite delightful light books. This one, the #1 ladies detective agency, focuses on Precious Romance, the kind of the lady detective of these novels, sort of Miss Marple, but in Botswana, I guess would be a way of saying it. Mcll Smith's novels, they are sort of cozy novels in the sense it's all very kind of gentle, but it also does have actually kind of a really strong moral center. Precious Romance is somebody who is good at figuring things out, just extremely smart woman, but also has kind of a finely tuned sense of right and wrong and how she might proceed with stuff. Maybe doesn't always go with the law, but it always goes with a certain high kind of level of ethics. And with these books, he's produced a heck of a lot of them. And I don't even actually at this moment remember if I have read them all. He is that kind of a guy who is, he in full flight has produced a ton of these books, and they are they're so gentle and light in a way that I have to say I don't have a giant urge to immediately snap them all up and read them all. Like there's not like a big through line of exciting drama or anything like that. A part of it maybe it's the gentleness of it combined with the great volume of it means that I can't actually say whether I've read them all or whether I trailed off at a certain point. He has gone on to do other series, some of which he is somebody who serialized some of these novels in newspapers, where he would just kind of write off a thing. And these are books that I've never even read. These are the Sunday Philosophers Club. There's the Isabel Dalhouse novels. He's somebody whose home base is Edinburgh, and so a lot of his 44 Scotland tales there is a lot of his books that are set in the UK in Scotland. Number 44 Scotland. He's got, for somebody who has been basically maybe been full-time writer since 2005, he has an ungodly number of books, which slightly defeats me. There's something about those authors that you just know, like, he can write them literally faster than I can read them, in the sense that I'm not going to make it a full-time thing to just go through his entire oeuvre. I'm going to pick him up every once in a while. And by the time I've picked up one, there are 3 or 4 more books to read, which is slightly, I don't know if it's slightly dispiriting, but just slightly overwhelming. They have such a kind of a gentle delightful tone to them. I feel sort of sad about that. But in some ways, I'm just waiting for the guy to drop dead so I can then maybe start. I can feel like I can actually get a purchase that I can actually catch up. The only way I'm going to catch up is when he dies, and he probably won't outlive me. I actually got to go to a reading of his when I lived in the Lower Mainland in BC and at the Vancouver Library, where he was the most delightful, kind of charming. It reminded me of a kind of an uncle of just like, oh, this is the guy who has all the stories, has all the kind of funny stuff, just effortlessly witty. Somebody who just simply writes out his stories and then they are published because he's got such that mind that he basically has it fully formed already. And it's just like, I think he talks about, like, even when he's traveling, he can get like 2,000 or 3,000 words out a day. Usually if he's at home, it's a minimum of 5,000 words a day. And you get the sense that there's not much like editing that goes on after that for these novels. Probably my favorite series of his, which I'm going to for the end, is actually a self-contained three volume thing, which is his Professor Dr. von Engelfeld entertainments, starting off with Portuguese Verbs, which is the title of the work by the philologist. I think it's philologist Dr. Professor von Engelfeld. And the interscene world of philology and how the professors have giant feuds with each other. They are actually more kind of collections of little short funny vignette stories, but they all seem to kind of laugh thing. There's The Finer Point of Sausage Dogs and the terrible fate of of dogs. Yes, in the sequel to Portuguese Regular Verbs, our hero, Morito Maria von Engelfeld, is the unlikely choice to address of veterinarians in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas. Is dogged by Dachshunds, becomes embroiled with that notorious Coptic schismatic, the Duke of Johannesburg, and his victim, the Patriarch Alexandria, and finally ends up being mobbed as the star attraction on a Mediterranean cruise ship. Yeah, maybe it's my favorite series because it is just one little series of books and not an unending stream. These are slim little entertainments, which I think Mccall Smith, exceeds with. I love these books. These I probably would reread. Some of the other series, it's just like, it's so much. I don't know if other people have that trouble with authors. I think it's one of the reasons why I've yet to pick up a Joyce Carol Oates, is just because she is just this unending stream of works that you just never could catch up with. All kind of at a certain level of quality, at least the ones that I've read, somebody who seems to always have a certain level of quality. Maybe it's not the super highest level of quality. It's always charming. It's always funny. It's always like, kind of like that level, which maybe is another reason why I haven't dived into his works. Like, they're not all burning works of genius that you must read. They're all just kind of charming and funny and smart, but maybe not that as urgent. So yeah, that is my tour of Alexander McCall Smith. This being merely a fraction of his output. So here's hoping that he lives a long life and has many more books, and that whenever that happens, maybe I will get to settle down and read a selection of those and just really enjoy myself. I certainly will at some point reread the Professor Dr. von Engelfeld entertainments, the Doctors and all that. Yes. So that's a bookshelf tour for today, and I think there's one more. And then maybe I will call it a day. And I can finish it off with one of my favorite books, which would be nice. All right, more videos later.